Malayan Special Forces Detective, Inspector Irene Lee. It's the 24th of July, 1952. Time 10:23 a.m. State your name for the record, please.
Lee Tai, a teacher.
The name Li Ming means anything to you?
No, never heard of it.
Strange. I could have sworn that's your alias. No?
I'm Lee Tai. You've got the wrong person.
Or you're lying, Li Ming.
I'm Lee Tai. Look, I've been set up. I don't know who or why.
Look, we suspect. I know that you are the head courier for the Malayan Communist Party. There's no denying the facts, Li Ming.
Head courier? Look, that's simply not true. You have to believe me. I'm Lee Tai.
Where's your proof?
Look at me. Do you really think they would choose me to be a mastermind?
Why not? Suit yourself. When and where were you born?
1926, Guangzhou.
When did you come to Malaya?
When I was 4.
Why?
To flee my good-for-nothing father. We were desperately poor.
We?
My mother, 2 elder sisters, and me.
What did she do for a living here?
A washerwoman. She cleaned dirty laundry.
Not aired it in public?
What do you mean?
We have it on the record that your mother and your sister joined the commies, or was that also a setup?
If you have all the answers, then why bother asking me these questions?
Just following protocol. Li Ming.
Lee Tai. Look, we joined to fend off the Japanese. Is that wrong?
We.
They.
And you?
I was too young.
And if you were older?
Maybe. If that's what it took to win the war.
The war was won by 2 atomic bombs thousands of kilometers away. It had nothing to do with us.
Us? Where were you during the war?
Your family never tried to brainwash you?
That's slightly extreme, isn't it?
Commies are extremists. No? It would only make sense to think that you were cut from the same cloth. And this school that you attended, this teacher of yours, we have it on the record that she was a prolific commie recruiter. They should have given her a cut. You were only 16. It would make sense to think that you walked right into her trap.
Trap? After the Japanese were defeated, the white dogs returned to reclaim what they had abandoned. The war didn't end, it merely evolved. And who's the one trapping us now? They are all cut from the same cloth.
It says here that you joined the Communist Party. It's right here in the... Hey!
And you believe it? Or did this file tell you too?
You disappeared after school. Vanished without a trace. Where did you go?
I became a teacher.
Spreading communist doctrine to your students?
I teach my students to think for themselves.
If only you were a teacher.
We surveyed all the schools. Your name didn't come up.
Schools misplace records all the time. That doesn't make me a mastermind.
That's convenient.
You want me to be guilty. To make all your efforts count for something.
Have you seen the death toll that this war has racked up? You would want the same thing, no?
It takes two hands to clap. You've hunted innocents, ruined lives, destroyed families. Where do you draw the line?
For the record, I do not hunt innocents.
Then why am I sitting here?
I almost lost my life trying to get to you. I chased a spy down Raffles Place. I tricked a courier in Johor Bahru into thinking that I was one of you. Worked as a rubber tapper in Pahang to stalk one of your cronies. Went into the jungle in the middle of the night all the time praying I wouldn't be ambushed by you terrorists. Infiltrated your nerve center in Kuala Lumpur in broad daylight thinking I was walking into a trap. But there, I found a document that led me to Ipoh, to your doorstep. And you dare tell me that you're innocent? Li Ming? Don't school me.
Pun intended.
You commies gunned down my husband in broad daylight. He was just playing billiards. There's the line. Right there.
I'm sorry to hear about your husband. I didn't know. The Brit bastards arrested my mother 2 years ago. Vanished her to China.
That's different from being buried 6 feet underground. You never had to tell your 4-year-old daughter that her father wasn't coming home.
We've both had to count our losses. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. Could you pour me a glass? Don't you think it's such a coincidence? They picked you to hunt me down right after your husband's death. Why you? Of all people.
I'm good at what I do.
Or is that what they want you to believe? Revenge is the most powerful engine. It's the perfect way to weaponize your grief.
I was recruited on my own merit.
I've told myself that more times than I can count.
Why were you so damn hard to get to if you're just a school teacher?
Fair enough. I concede. I support the MCP. But I'm no mastermind.
Well, that's convenient.
We're all forced to pick a side now. At least choose one you believe in.
I chose the one that lets me get the job done.
What is the job? You get your vengeance, but they get our country? Is that what you want?
You have no idea what I want.
The right to independence. Freedom from oppression. They try to take the moral high ground, but all it exposes is their hypocrisy. Your daughter should not have to grow up cowering to them like we do. Pawns in their never-ending game.
And you're so sure you're on the winning side?
I'm not. But I'm sure I'm on the right side. Are you? I had to teach my students to read the Bible. Part of the curriculum. So I did. Why not beat them at their own game, I thought. Matthew 7:15. Beware of false prophets that come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they're ravening wolves. I asked my students what they inferred from this. All of them gave me the same answer. The Brits are wolves disguised as sheep, reading us off, one by one, until they're the last one standing. Pretty good answer, right? Then someone at the back of the class spoke up. This girl, real introvert. No one ever thought much of her. But when she spoke, her voice was quiet and determined. All of you have missed the first line, she said. Beware of false prophets. The wolves don't need to ravish the sheep. Too much work, too little ammunition. They just need to convert them. Some of them. Let distrust seep in. Let disarray settle. Before you know it, the sheep are turning on each other, and the wolves would have won, all without lifting a finger. The class was so quiet you could hear a pin drop.
What became of that little girl?
She disappeared after school. Never heard from her since.
What made you want to become a teacher?
To be overworked and underpaid. To do better. To do something bigger than myself.
Why?
To quell my inner demons. If I had chosen another calling,
You would have excelled at that too.
Exactly. And that's where the danger is. You're not that different, you know.
What do you mean?
Just an observation. Do you ever get the feeling when you're looking at someone, it's like...
You're looking in a mirror.
You even finish my sentences now. I do think that there's one difference, though.
What?
I think I have a better sense of humor. Sorry. That's clearly not how you speak to the police.
Have you know, I did not pick this profession out of
I know.
choice.
Your husband.
That's what I don't understand about this war. All this rhetoric. It's never about you, it's about your country. Loyalty. Allegiance. Sacrifice. But what do all these words mean when the only things that really matter are gone? It's always personal.
And he wasn't even in his uniform. I would have done the same if I were you.
He was just playing billiards.
I know. You mentioned. Wrong place at the wrong time.
Collateral damage. We understand that better than anyone, don't we?
Don't you think it's such a coincidence that you were plucked out of nowhere and accused of being the mastermind?
An error on the part of the police. Typical.
Yes, but why an innocent school teacher?
You tell me.
You know the one thing that kept running through my mind when I was going through the investigation? It was that the MCP would be coming after me. After all, I was going after one of the most important people in the network. And the MCP is not known to be forgiving, especially with people like me and when it comes to their leadership. Right? So it makes sense. You're just an innocent school teacher. After all, the MCP would protect his top brass, but not a lowly runner like you. The British are doubling down on their efforts.
They're offering rewards for anybody with information on the top 20 communists. Jinping must really be feeling the heat, no?
What are you trying to say?
Before all this, I was just a housewife. I went to Bible studies class. My husband thought it would be a wonderful way to network with all the boss's wives there. And in that book, there was a passage about a priest who laid all the sins of the people upon a goat and banished it into the wilderness. That poor, innocent goat had no idea that it was carrying the faults for others' mistakes. You know what they called it, right? A scapegoat.
Assuming you're right, why me? Of all people, there's so many others to choose from.
Look at you. When they cast you out, it's not just a distraction, it's a spectacle. Exactly what they need to get the British off their tail.
How do you know that?
Women always take the fall for everything, don't we?
The MCP is not like that.
How do you know?
Women hold up half the sky. That's our phrase. I don't recall the Brits saying that.
You also know that Jinping protects his own interests above all. He's gotten rid of his own before, when they became hindrances, even if they were fiercely loyal to the cause, to his cause.
Why are you telling me this?
I know what it's like to be disposable. Jinping and his men are tucked away safely in Thailand, while here you are slogging on the front lines. And yet, when they need a sacrifice, who do they pick?
You don't know what you're talking about.
Women are the preferred choice of couriers in the MCP. That's the first thing I learned on this job. We slip past guards unnoticed. We don't get body checked. Our invisibility is our strength. But now you've been arrested. You're exposed. And that makes you visible. Whether you're the mastermind or the lowly runner, now to the MCP, you're just the liability. So you can no longer serve the cause. Your cause. And whoever set you up must have known that. The MCP isn't kind to traitors. What's the difference between hanging from a noose and being gunned down in a back alley? You get to control the narrative. From here on out. Isn't that the ultimate victory? Check my apartment.
There's a desk in the bedroom. There's a false drawer. In it, a stack of documents for the leadership. Shin Ping personally customized it for me. Tricked me.
Whatever it takes to get a confession. Right? Beaming?
How did you know?
You let slip that my husband wasn't wearing his uniform. But you said that you didn't know he had died. You weren't supposed to know that he was a detective.
Are they going to execute me?
I don't know.
If you were on our side, we could have done so much together.
That story you told me about the teacher and the wolf and the sheep parable. Was that true?
Yes.
So you were a teacher before all this?
I was the girl at the back of the class.